and welcome to Hanging with Becky. I'm Becky Deanna, and every week I hang out with one of my amazing friends to talk about the latest movie release. Then comes the really fun part. I create a custom Becky challenge to test just how well they know something they're passionate about. I've spent more than 25 years as a movie studio marketing executive and a lifetime as a film fanatic. This show is all about celebrating the movies playing in theaters and introducing you to some of the incredible people I'm lucky enough to call my friends. One conversation at a time. My guest today is Martin Kessler. Martin is a film writer, podcaster, and one of the most knowledgeable movie lovers I know. He previously hosted the podcast Flixwise and Flixwise Canada. And over the years, we've had wonderful conversations together about films like Election, Amelie, Broadcast News, and Children of Paradise. Martin's interests cover just about every corner of film culture, whether he's discussing Czech cinema, historical epics, giant monster movies, or the legacy of King Kong. He always brings a fascinating perspective to the conversation. He recently teamed up with fellow Hanging with Becky guests Adam Rakoff and James Hancock for the audio commentary on the animated film Hoffmanada, released by Deaf Crocodile. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're each revealing our top 5 films of the year so far. Neither of us knows what's on the other's list. So we're about to find out if our tastes overlap or if we're headed in completely different directions. Hi, Martin. Welcome to Hanging with Becky. I'm so excited to have you on my show.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
We've been friends for, at least a decade, I think. And we podcasted together a bunch. Actually, for some of my favorite movies of all time, I was on your podcast, Flixwise and Flixwise Canada, to talk about Amelie and Broadcast News and Election, which was, that was, I think, the most fun we had. We laughed.
That was a really fun one.
Whole episode. I remember, sometimes I listen to it just when I'm having a bad day because we're just laughing through the whole thing because we're just like, and this part, and this part, and this part, and the slushy part at the end. That part really cracked us up. But we also did,
cookies, muffins. Took me a second.
We did Children of Paradise.
Which
was
great
also
too.
amazing too because I've been on 2 different podcasts. I was on Wrong Reel to celebrate the 1945 Children of Paradise, which I still believe was like a religious experience that I've had in the cinema. At any time it plays in the movie theater, I rush out to see it because it's one of the best cinematic experiences of my lifetime.
Yep.
So it was so fun celebrating on your show. And then I also celebrated on Wrong Reel. But we and we also podcasted together last year for Five for the Fire, which is, tell us the premise for that.
It's a Pink Smoke premise they have articles on the site that are Five from the Fire, and there's also some podcast episodes where the guest will be given the filmographies of 5 different filmmakers, or sometimes it's the same filmmaker. It kind of depends, but generally it's 5 different filmmakers, and they have to choose 5 films that they would rescue from a burning warehouse that has the last prints of their films in the world. So, sometimes you can double up and take 2 from the same filmmaker. I think that might have happened, right?
I think I did that with John Carpenter because I think one of the filmmakers you gave me was John Carpenter, and I wanted to save Halloween and The Thing. Yeah. I think that's what I saved from his filmography. And then there was some other, like One and Done, like Hillary Birmingham. I took her only film she ever directed because it was one of my favorites, Tully. And we did that with John Lobinger, and that was really fun too.
Yeah, that was great having John on also. We had John Cribbs and John Lobinger on the same show. So,
and I just died because it was John Cribbs. I'm obsessed with John Cribbs. I've never podcasted with him before, and I've been talking to him forever online, and I've listened to so many Pink Smoke podcasts and things. And so I told him when we recorded with you guys that it was like the emoji with all the hearts coming out of it. That's what it was. That came to life when I recorded it because I'm like, hey, John Cribs. And then when I went to this last time I went to New York in April, he came out for a big dinner I had. And then also I got to meet him in person for the first time in December, because he came out for the Kevin Geeks Out show. So that was also just like, it's funny because like you meet people online and you become so close to them, but getting to meet him in person was like, I'm like such a fan of his. So it was kind of, I kind of like freaked out. But
and John's very approachable too. Like I feel like John's very huggable. Like yes. I would be shocked if you didn't give him a hug. So
yeah. I mean, that was the first thing I did. He is very huggable. Yes, John Cribs, very huggable. But Martin, we have never met in person, which is nuts too. So
that's weird. I almost forget about that because we've done so many shows and we've known each other for such a long time. That's going to have to change at some point. But
I talked about for the listeners to know, we have and I mentioned it on the last episode, that we have a wrong reel kind of a podcaster WhatsApp chat with a bunch of podcasters that have been on Wrong Reel, or just
I think lately it's been taken over by FIFA discussion.
Yes,
I was like, I think I'm turning my notifications off today.
I know, it's so funny. So usually it's very film centric, but sometimes recently it had FIFA stuff, and I'm just like, I just check out too. I'm like, this is not for me. But most of the time we're talking about movies. We support each other's projects. It's really just an extraordinary place to be. But I've talked before a lot, sometimes to Matthias, who's in that group, about how there's people in this group, this WhatsApp chat that we have of all these podcasters, where like some people I haven't met in real life, but I've been talking to for like a decade or longer. Yeah. And I would like throw myself in front of a train to save them type thing. That's how much I care about these friends of ours, that some of them I've never met in real life. And so like John Cribs was one of them. Was when I met him, it was so exciting. And I got to meet, there was several people like Marcus Pinn that I had never met in real life. When I got to be on the Kevin Geeks Out show, I got to meet Kevin Marr for the first time in real life. And actually when I went in April to New York, I got to meet Adam Rockoff for the first time in real life. And he and I are super close too. So that's also crazy. And he's been on 2 of my episodes already of this podcast.
Yeah. That's also weird to me that you hadn't met sooner, because you just seemed like such great friends. And I mean, you are great friends, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, I sort of think of you both as the biggest Terminator fans I know. So it's great that you've had him on the show. And I really love the Disclosure Day episode. That's been my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, it was such an honor to have him on for both of those episodes, because I picked guests specifically based on the film. And so he just couldn't have been more perfect for either of those. And but yeah, it is funny. I think Jamie's head exploded too when he's like, wait, what? You and Adam have never met in person? Because Adam and I are so close. Some people are just like, I don't understand how that's possible. But that's the thing you can do, is you can really create close friendships with people online, or, you know, we talk on the phone. And Adam and I, we're going to release a pilot we did together in next month. But we were so close that we had a pilot, we were pitching a podcast pilot together. So, and we used to talk on the phone like all the time about that. And anyway, this isn't the Adam show.
It could be. We can just keep talking about Adam.
Because we just love you, Adam, too. You're very huggable as well. So funny. Oh my gosh. We just have a huggable meter on this show. But Martin's here. And why I picked Martin is because I decided it'd be fun to do an episode where we talk about the best movies of the year so far. We are about to go into July. This episode will actually release right after the July 4th U.S. holiday. And actually, that's why I'm recording it now. I'm recording it a few weeks before that, because I will be out of town that weekend for the U.S. holiday. And so we will release it right after. And I just thought, you know, it's a halfway point. Let's see what our favorite films are. What I think is interesting is usually, you know, there's not as many in the past. There hasn't been as many good films in the first 6 months. So sometimes those films might not be even movies that are your favorites at the end of the year. But now the movie studios in the last, 4 or 5 years, maybe even decade, started releasing, they really spread out their films. And there's like last year, Sinners came out in the beginning of the earlier in the year. Yeah. And actually I was just looking at my top 10 list last year for 2025. And I think it's 7 of the films that were on my top 10 list, or 6 of the films that were on my top 10 list had released by this time last year. So it's very possible. I just think that some of the films that we're talking about now will be on my end of the year list. So I'm excited about that. And it has been a great year so far. And then, Martin, what do you think? Do you feel like you've seen a lot of great films so far this year?
I think it's been a pretty good roster so far this year. And I like the idea of being on for the halfway to the end of the year episode, because it's a little less committal. You know, when you say something is my favorite film of the year, it's like written in stone, versus I'm like, well, we're halfway through. This is what I've liked. It's a little bit easier for me to put a list together of what I've enjoyed. Although I think it was similar with me, where a lot of my end of the year lists, some of my favorite films came from earlier in the year. And I think part of that is just because I had more time to think them over and really sort of settle on them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a film will come out like, I remember last year it was Train Dreams, where I saw it just a couple, it was like 2 or 3 days before I did the end of the year show. So I was like, I like this film a lot, but I don't want to put it too high because it feels like I haven't had enough time to really settle on it. And, you know, sometimes when you come right out of a movie, you're like, oh, that's the best thing ever. And by the end of the week, you've kind of forgotten about it. So that happens sometimes.
It does. You know what's fun is, I mean, there are a lot of films that do come out at the very, very end of the year. And that's why I usually don't do my top 10 lists until the 31st. I try to catch all the movies. And luckily, I live in Los Angeles. So a lot of those movies that only release in a few theaters in New York and LA, I'll get to run out and see them. But I try to wait till the very end of the year. The one time I remember is There Will Be Blood. I think I saw that film on December 31st or the 30th. It was the very, very end of the year. And that was my favorite film of the year that year. I was so in love with that movie walking out of it. And actually, I had a very similar response at the end of There Will Be Blood that I had at the end of a film on my list this year that I'm going to talk about, that I was like shaking when I got out of There Will Be Blood. And so I immediately put it as my favorite film of the year. And actually, I think it was pretty high up on my best of the decade list when I did my list for the several years later. So I think it was pretty high up on that. So I definitely, I knew immediately that was going to be one of my favorite films. That was my favorite film of the year, and that it was going to be a film that I loved for my lifetime. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I was just looking at last year, all the movies, 6 of the 10 films for my top 10 list last year had come out already at this point. Sinners, Sorry Baby, Presents, Secret Mall Apartment, 28 Years Later, and Life of Chuck. Those were all on my end of year list, and all of them had come out by this time last year. So it was a great year. And then my favorite film of the year, Weapons, came out in August.
Yeah. Just not quite in the first half of the year, but still pretty early on compared to like the big batch of the award contender movies that usually come out close to the end of the year. It was so great that Secret Mall Apartment was on so many people's best of the year list, because Jeremy Workman's a mutual friend. And it was great being able to say that, you know, a friend made one of the best movies of the year earnestly and not just, you know, as a flattery. And, you know, I was seeing so many people discovering it on Netflix and talking about how much they like that. That was a really great moment.
It was a great moment. It was, and it just exploded. I'm so excited to be on Netflix because it was on the top 10 for a long time of the best, you know, films on Netflix. So many people saw it because it was on Netflix. And it was also, you're right, it's nice when a friend makes a movie, but it's also just even more exciting to celebrate it when it's just like earnestly one of the best films of the year. And so I was screaming from the rooftops about how amazing it was. It was nice to have it be celebrated. And then we just celebrated Jeremy yesterday or the day before, because he got tapped to be in the Academy of Motion Pictures. He is now an Academy member. He's so humble about it. He said, I forgot what he said when I posted about it in a chat group we had, where he was just really humble about it. But that's an extraordinary achievement as well, because he's made some amazing documentary films. So congratulations, Jeremy, for being an Academy member now. That's a big deal.
Congratulations.
But yeah, let's get into our top movies of the year. So you guys know this format. Martin and I discussed it. We're going to do our top 5 films of the year. We're not going to do 10, and we're not going to do spoilers because it is halfway through the year. What we want to do is, if you haven't seen these movies, we want to encourage you to see them. If they're still in theaters or renting them, we don't want to ruin them for you. So we will give a little bit about why we like them and not give spoilers. And what we'll do is we'll start from 5 to 1 and we'll go back and forth. And if Martin and I overlap, we'll talk about the movie then. But yeah, I think we should start. And actually, I would love for you to start, Martin. Oh. Are you ready to start? Oh, no, you shocked. You're like, oh, no.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what is your 5th favorite film of the year? And I know you said you weren't so into maybe numbering in them, but you did put them in order. But for me, I did really, mine's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but you go, Martin.
Yeah, I would say the numbering's not too serious. Any of these movies could potentially show up on my end of the year list, and they could appear in a completely different order. This was just sort of a general, I like this list with maybe a gradient of what I liked in the general order. So nobody take it too seriously. But my number 5 is Primate, which came out, I think, in January, early in January. I saw this in the theater. It's a horror film about a chimpanzee with rabies. It's very stripped down. I appreciated just how simple it was. Very scary, mean-spirited, suspenseful. I really enjoyed this film. I think it's been a great year in general for horror movies. There's so many horror films that are breaking through and being huge successes, and some really interesting horror films. And I told you this a little bit ahead of time, but I'm very interested in the history of apes in pop culture. So, this was a great addition to that canon, I thought. I think the only thing that kind of kept me from maybe wanting to rank it a little bit higher is it's so stripped down that I wish there was just a little bit more backstory or relationship between some of the characters to make you care just a little bit more about what's happening. But at the same time, I really just enjoyed how simple it was. It's like that first little segment of John Carpenter's Halloween, but with a chimpanzee. I thought maybe they could have even stripped it down more and just taken out the rabies and just had this chimpanzee snap, and you don't know why. It reminded me a little bit of that segment in Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh yeah,
that was my favorite part of that movie. Actually,
that was really
that was great. That scene
still really unsettling when I think about it. That's a really unsettling part of the film storyline.
But I love apes. I've got picture of orangutan hiding under a leaf from the rain in my bathroom. But they can be little scary, and it's unsettling how similar they can be to us. And I think there's no chimpanzee in the film, which is something I approve of. But I was really impressed with the special effects for the chimpanzee. I thought they were pretty convincing. I think it was a mixture of a practical suit and maybe some digital effects on the face. Something like that is my guess. I haven't watched any of the behind the scenes, so I'm not totally sure. I guess I should mention, I think it's directed by Johannes Roberts, is how you say it. And I don't know very much about him, but everything I've seen by him, I've enjoyed. Good horror filmmaker. I think this is his best film yet. Also, I liked that Troy Kotsur is in the cast. I feel like, Coda, for some reason, Coda's turned into like a little bit of a punching bag for people trying to say that like the Oscars are out of touch. Like who even cares about this little film? But Coda's great. And I like him as an actor, and it's just nice to see him get more work. And I'd say, without spoiling anything, there's a sequence in the film that utilizes his deafness very well for suspense. And I got a big kick out of this movie. So
I did too. Yeah. This didn't make my top 5 list, but I loved this film. I've actually saw it twice. I saw it with my best friend David, who was our guest on the first episode with Backrooms. And then I loved it so much I took my dad, and my friend Andrew joined us. So it was we three of us went and saw it, and we just like it. They both really thought it was amazing. I just love how like straight out of the gate, I put this in my letterbox review. There's like this brutal savage kill, which like sets the stage for the rest of it. I mean, it's just gory from the second it starts. And I also actually liked how the chimp, and his name is Ben,
Yes.
how he was sort of like, you got to kind of know him a little, like the beginning, he was a sweetie pie. I thought he was adorable. So I think it helped show how much the family cared about him, and how it was sort of interesting because he had rabies, why he churned, and then what that was like. There's an interesting dynamic about the fact that he is a family member who sort of like churns on you.
Yes.
But I've mentioned this in the past, and about how it's sort of like, I think a previous episode, I think David and I talked about it in the Backrooms episode. We talked about Primate because we saw it together, that I felt like it was very much like Ben the chimp could stand in the slasher killer pantheon with Michael Myers, because he hunts this family. And I just thought it was shocking and suspenseful, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it was a January film that I just out of the gate loved it.
Well said. So what would you say is your number 5 pick?
Oh my gosh, look at you. I love this. Like you're hosting too.
No.
Fun. I love this. This is great. I'll look up where we can see Primate, because I'm going to try to do that too. When I get a second, I'll look to see like where we can rent.
I know it's out on Blu-ray too. If
really?
People
did you
enjoy physical media? I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my
I liked
God,
it that much.
That. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think I don't think I knew that. I think I'll probably own it too. Because Kyle Reardon, who is our friend and the producer of the show, also really, really enjoyed Primate. So we highly recommend it. I'm looking it up right now on the Just Watch app. So I don't know if this is it. Just Watch app just works in the US, but in the US, I know you could stream it on Paramount Plus. So if you have Paramount Plus, you can stream it, and it looks like you can rent it on iTunes. And then also sounds like you can buy it on physical media, which is great. So I will definitely check that out. So my number 5 film is Backrooms.
Oh, great pick.
The film that I talked about in our debut episode of Hanging with Becky with David Boer, my best friend. I loved this movie. I thought it was the production design and the sound were brilliant. I loved how it was atmospheric and haunting and claustrophobic. And I just really thought it was also moving. I loved how the actors were just really renowned actors that were, I just thought they brought a lot to the film. And Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renata Reinsve was in it. I love their whole dynamic as a therapist with a patient, and kind of their backstory. There's been a lot written about this film, about liminal space and Kane Parsons, and it's doing explosive the box office, and it's actually still in theaters, so you can't rent it or buy it on physical media just yet. So if you still have time and it's still in the theaters, I would check it out. I thought it was, honestly, I adored this movie. I keep thinking about it. And it's a lot of the films that I really loved that are on this list I've seen multiple times. This is one I didn't get a chance to see more than once. I only saw it once. So I would like to check it out and try to see it again if I can. Did you like this one film, Martin?
Yes, I did. This one actually came very close to making it onto my list. I ended up picking a different movie that I think would actually complement it well to watch them both together. But I really appreciated the subtlety of the film. I think I've seen some video games and things based on the Backrooms that don't let you really take in the subtlety of that liminal horror. You know, they feel the need to throw in a monster or a jump scare in a way that, you know, it feels like it kind of cheapens it. And I really enjoy horror like The Shining, where part of the horror is just being in an unsettling space. And I think that was captured very well in the film. Great performances, like you said. Yeah, so this one came pretty close to making it onto my list, but definitely would recommend it also.
I love how so far our two, like Primate was really close to making it on my list too, and same for Backrooms for you. So what is your number 4 favorite film of the year so far, Martin?
My number 4 pick is Project Hail Mary.
Oh, okay, that's a great one.
Big crowd pleasing. Well, maybe not my crowd, but I really enjoyed this film. I thought the mixture of the science and humor and heart all worked very well together. I saw it twice. Second time, I made the mistake of bringing my family to go and see it. And,
why was that a mistake?
They got bored. Well, the only one who enjoyed it really was my father, because he also likes some of that technical science part of that. Like my father's the sort of person where when I showed him The Martian, we had to pause the film because he was like, I don't think that difference in pressure is enough to have explosive decompression. And we had to work it out to see if it was realistic or not in the movie.
Didn't work for him.
Yeah, he was pretty suspicious of the science. I think I might have set him up for that, because I'm like, oh yeah, the science is supposed to be very good in this one. But he enjoyed Project Hail Mary. Yeah, my mother, my brother, not so much. They thought it was very boring. But to me, this kind of hit that sweet spot of what I used to get out of Marvel movies, just that kind of crowd pleasing mix of humor and, very just enjoyable film, a lot of heart. Like I said, I think maybe the runtime is a bit much for some people, but there were a few parts towards the end where I thought, like, I enjoyed a lot of the humor and I thought the jokes were landing, but I'm like, did you really need to make a joke at this particular moment? Can't you just let you enjoy the moment? I like a lot of science fiction that can take itself very seriously. I sort of think about how the days of Star Trek the motion picture are long behind us, where everyone is very serious and does their job seriously and doesn't make any jokes for hours at a time. But still, I thought it was a fantastic movie. Yeah, Star Trek 4 is hilarious. I mean, you can have lots of jokes, but
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, there were just a couple moments where I sort of thought that it would have worked better if they just let you take the moment sincerely and not crack a joke. But Ryan Gosling, I think he's one of our best movie stars. He can carry a whole movie, no problem. And I won't spoil what his co-star is for most of the film, but I really enjoyed their dynamic. And I think for me, this was kind of like what I was getting out of Marvel films a couple of years ago before they, kind of fell off. Of course, it's by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did the Spider-Verse film. Actually, I don't think did they direct that themselves? I kind of forget. They didn't
direct it.
Right. No. Yeah. But, they
helped produce it.
Produced it and, their stamps all over it. I don't know. Sometimes they seem like maybe they're annoying on Twitter. I forget which is the one that was like trying to pick a fight with I'm Cuba, but they can make a very entertaining film. So I enjoyed this film a lot.
Yeah, I think they're fantastic. When I was at Sony, I worked on the marketing for Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and also even Beyond the Spider-Verse. Worked on a good part of that too before I left Sony. But I think that they're great filmmakers and producers. I really enjoyed this film too. It's funny, this movie was released by Amazon MGM, and then they had hired Sony to release their films internationally until they got their offices up and running. So I actually got to work on the marketing for this film internationally because I was international marketing. So I saw Project Hail Mary several months before it came out. And then when it came out, I saw it in 70 millimeter by Fran Andrew again. And then actually, it's funny, I took my dad again. So it's funny, I should have just took them together like I did Primates, so knock two birds with one stone. But I ended up seeing it 3 times totally. So one in the at the Amazon studios, I saw it. And actually back then, I think the film was, I don't think they cut anything. And I remember thinking they would, because I think when the first time I saw it, it was, 2:45 or 2:30. Yeah. And I thought, oh, well, they're going to make this film shorter to make it be able to have more showings. And there's a few parts I thought they could trim down, and they didn't. And I think they just were in love with what they had, and obviously did really well. I do think there are a few things they probably could have trimmed, but they decided to go with it. So the long version I saw then was essentially that version, but it was really nice seeing it in 70 millimeter. I saw it at the AMC Universal second time, and then the third time was at a movie theater closer to where my father was. But I really enjoyed this film. This film didn't make my top 5, but I love Ryan Gosling. I mean, I've been a fan of his since he was on Mickey Mouse Club.
When Adventures of Young Hercules back then. I think he was on Are You Afraid of the Dark? A lot of like Canadian TV shows back when. But he's been doing great work for a long, long time. I think
he has.
The dramatic film that that really sort of made me aware of him as an actor. He plays a repentant neo-Nazi. There's a really great film. He was probably pretty young when he was in that too, but he's been in some really fantastic films, and he's sort of risen to the top of the movie star pile, I think, in recent years. And
it's interesting because Mickey Mouse Club, I was really obsessed with it when I was a junior high school. And a lot of the people from the class that I was interested in, I became like, the casting was extraordinary because Ryan Gosling was 12 when he was on that show, and Kerry Russell was in it, and JC and Chavez and Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. Like, I saw all of them when they were kids, and then they were all like multi-talented, acting, singing, dancing. So anyway, Ryan Gosling, I saw him when he was 12. He was sort of on the show, and he was amazing. And then I became fans of all of them on that show because it's like I saw him every day. It was like an SNL type show, and Ryan Gosling, I followed him to when he was in acting and Half Nelson. He was extraordinary.
Half Nelson's really good.
And
The Believer is the title of the film I was trying to think of earlier. But there's Fracture with Anthony Hopkins, Drive. Like he's been doing great films for just a long time now, like since he was quite young. So
he's so magnetic, and he's definitely, he has a thing where he does it in Half Nelson too. There's sometimes he does scenes where he just kind of just stares at he's talking to somebody, and then he's across from like the actress or actor, whoever, and he just kind of looks at them, and there's so much he says, and just like his look. I remember there's a scene in Half Nelson where he's kind of standing on the street looking at somebody, and there's so much said in that. I just think he's really exceptionally talented. I'm glad to see him through, like, when he's young and now until in his early 40s, just to see all the stuff he's done. And also, this is definitely essentially like a one-man show. So he is interacting with actors and a sidekick, which you said we don't want to get into. But I think he's just amazing. And the film has genuinely moving scenes. The first time I saw it in that Amazon screening room, I cried through like 5 times or something crazy. And the second time I saw it, I still cried. It was still incredibly moving on second viewing, being reduced to tears. And I thought the cinematography was breathtaking. So that was a great film. It didn't quite make my top 5, but I really loved it too. But let me get into my top 3, my third film, actually my fourth film. Oh my God, we haven't even gotten to my fourth film. I just went off on Project Hail Mary this whole time. So my fourth film is actually Disclosure Day, which we just covered on. We covered on Hanging with Becky as well, with Adam Rackoff. I saw this film 3 times in the theater, and it's still in theaters, so check it out. It's not available to rent or stream right now or on VOD or anything. So definitely check it out. I did a whole episode dedicated to it with Adam Rackoff a week or 2 ago. So check that out if you really want me to get into it. But just want to say, I found this film profoundly moving and hopeful. Emily Blunt, I think, has a career best performance in this movie. I think she has a real shot at getting an Oscar nom. I thought she had so many layers as a comedic actress, as a dramatic actress. Courtney Grace was at the end. I just learned who she was. She was a reporter from the Tampa Bay area that became an actress 2 years ago, and she really steals the movie at the end. But this film is the episode that we did a few weeks ago is spoiler heavy. So if you see the movie and you want to hear us, Adam and I, talk about why we love it, why it was so moving, I definitely want you to check that out. I absolutely love this film, and I saw it in, like I said, 3 times, and I took my dad to see this one too. Oh my God. And my friend Andrew the third time too. So this is what this whole movie is about. Seeing a movie with my dad and then my friend Andrew, I guess. But I loved it. Did you like Disclosure Day? Oh yeah, you love Disclosure Day.
Yeah, I love Disclosure Day. It's going to show up maybe later on my list. I'm actually surprised this is only at the number 4 spot for you. Again, I think we're not taking the numbering too seriously, but I was sort of expecting it to be maybe your number 1. So now I'm really excited to see what else is on your list.
I think there's just such good films. It's funny because it is kind of crazy that Disclosure Day is number 4, considering how much I loved it. I really, really, really was moved by this movie. So yeah, I thought it was great. So I guess we'll move to your number 3 then.
Okay, my number 3 is called Soy Frankelda, or I Am Frankelda. It's a stop motion animated movie from Mexico. I watched this on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's available anywhere other than Netflix, but I love the animation so much. It's such an imaginative world that was created. I think it's based on a series, but I haven't seen any of the episodes of it. It's set in the 19th century. It's about a girl who wants to become a Gothic writer, starts writing stories, and this sort of relationship between the imaginary world, the world of nightmares and dreams. And it's a very fantastical story with this beautiful, beautiful stop motion animation. Actually, I think I need to watch it again because maybe some parts of the story, especially towards the end, I had moments of like, wait, what was that? Because I was so focused on the animation. I wasn't keeping up with the Spanish as well as I probably should have. But
it sounds amazing.
Earlier this year, I talked about Hoffmanniana, which just got its North American release through Deaf Crocodile, and that's all stop motion. And I was doing the audio commentary with Adam and James, and it really just renewed my appreciation for the art form of stop motion animation. And I think this film is so beautiful, the design work, the craftsmanship, and I think anybody who enjoys that aspect of stop motion animation is really, really going to love this film. I find some of the more recent stop motion animation films that I've seen, I don't want to point any fingers, but I've seen a few where I feel like the charm of the stop motion animation starts to get lost when it's enhanced too much with digital technology and the totally perfect camera moves and the things that I think take away from the handcrafted quality where things are sort of smoothed over and touched up digitally. And I think this film understands the visual beauty of the craft of stop motion animation, having those little touches of the hands of the artist. I love seeing, smoke as just cotton balls, just seeing how they breathed life into these characters with all these interesting ways. And I think for people who enjoy animation and fantasy and all that stuff, they would definitely enjoy this film.
Oh, it sounds great. I hadn't heard of it. What's the name of it again?
Soy Frankelda, or I Am Frankelda. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And then how did you find out about it?
I just saw that it was on Netflix. That was it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. So it was served up to you?
Yeah. I think it was just in the films recently added list or something like that.
Martin will like this.
Yeah. So that was it for me, and I loved it. So.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Well, I have to check it out. I hadn't heard of it. That sounds amazing. And I love that you picked that movie. It's great. So my third favorite film, it's so funny because I guess I did just really get floored by a lot of films this year. So my third favorite film was A Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you not like that movie?
I liked it.
Okay. It's okay. If you didn't like it.
I almost forgot that it came out this year. That's why.
That's
anyway.
so funny. That'd be funny. And first of all, it's totally fine if you hated a movie that I love, but I loved this film. You can stream it. I just checked. You can stream it on Hulu in the States, or you can rent it on iTunes or Amazon Prime. This film I just loved it. It stars Sam Rockwell, who I just adore. I think he's so charming. I love everything he's in. He's wonderful. But the premise is that there's a man from the future that sort of arrives at a Norm's Diner. If you're in Los Angeles, you know what that is. And he essentially shows up. He looks like a homeless man in this diner, and people are just eating their food at a late night in a diner. And he shows up and he essentially tells the whole diner that the world's going to end, and that he essentially needs to recruit a bunch of people on the spot to go on a one night quest, a mission to save the world from this artificial intelligence. You understand later what the artificial intelligence is and who created it. And it's just so fun. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who, typically I'm not like, I don't love all his movies, but I love this
Mouse
movie
Hunt so much.
Which one?
Mouse Hunt. That's my favorite of his movies.
I don't know if I've ever saw that movie.
Oh, it's so funny. But anyway, continue.
So I saw this movie with my friend Shell, and literally at least 3 times in the movie, because he really wanted to see it. And he kept asking me, he's like, I want to see it this weekend. And I was like, I didn't really like the poster. The poster was, I thought, not very eye-catching. It was just a lot of stuff. And once you see the movie, you understand what the poster really is from. But the poster didn't really attract my eye. I'm like, what is this movie? And then I don't remember why I decided to check it out with him, because he wanted to see it. And I was like, well, let's go. And I was so happy I went and saw it with him. It was opening weekend, because at least 3 times during the movie, I had to restrain myself from leaning over and being like, I love this movie so much. I'm so in love with this movie, because it is so funny. It's clever and smart. And it's like a sci-fi an action adventure story. It's a satire. There's all these levels to it where they show from different, Sam Rockwell comes in and he recruits people, and you kind of see their backstory, like where they were in their lives before this, which is really interesting. There is a story in particular that sort of feels so prescient now. It's about gun violence in our schools, but it's done in a satire way. But it's really profoundly moving, I think, too. And it's, but also really it's funny. And it's just wonderful. I love this film. I thought it was wholly original, brilliant, clever, hilarious. I really loved it. The last act, I think there was some, the pacing wasn't great in the last act.
I think that's what threw me off a little bit too. Like once they get to the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still really loved it. I liked the ending. It was great. But yeah, I think that the only criticism is maybe maybe kind of isn't the best pacing at the very end, and it falls apart about a little bit. But I love this movie so much. And for the first, I would say 45 minutes, it is perfect. So I kind of wrote on my Letterboxd review that after I saw this movie, I felt like, how could this movie possibly exist without every person that's seen it not grabbing people and being like, you have to see this right now. So if you haven't heard of this movie, it's streaming on Hulu. You can rent it. I just think it's wonderful. It's so funny. And all the backstory about essentially there's school shootings and what happens with school shootings, and this one storyline is really just, I don't know who came up with it, but it's really, really clever. And like I said, moving too. So I highly recommend this film. Like I said, it's on my third favorite film of the year so far.
I like how you brought up the film about traveling back in time to stop an AI from taking over with the Terminator 2 poster in the background. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's also probably spoke to me because it's very much like the Terminator thing. Yeah, it's like somebody travels back in time to stop an AI from ruining our lives. Yes. So it's got, obviously there's some Terminator DNA, and he has a very much Sam Rockwell's characters is very kind of like
it's
the
a little
Kyle
like
Reese character, but in
Terminator
he's really
by way
funny.
of Terry Gilliam kind of a thing.
That's perfect. It's a perfect way. It's very Brazil. It does feel like a Terry Gilliam film. I could not recommend this film more highly. I just think it's wonderful. I think it's great that a lot of people haven't seen it yet too, because it's in front of you, and I can't wait for you to discover it. And if you love it, reach out and let me know. And I'm sure that you could probably buy this on physical media, so I'll have to check it out. But this is a film where I don't think enough people saw it. I think maybe because the marketing, the key art didn't really grab people. But I'm just saying here for my show, I loved it. I definitely recommend it. I think you should check it out. So what is your number 3 movie?
3 or 2? I think
3 or 2. Yes.
Yeah, I'm at 2 now.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2 is the film that I think would complement Backrooms very well. It's called Exit 8. It's a Japanese film by Genki Kawamura. It's based on a video game that I've played. There's 2 video games. There's one in the subway station and one on a subway. But this is based on the one where you're trying to get to the exit of the subway station. And in the video game, you're supposed to look for if there's an anomaly, something unusual. And if you spot it, you turn back. Sometimes it's something very subtle, like a, doorknob being out of place, or something, very hard to notice. Sometimes it's something very scary. It's a great, fun, quick video game to play. And I think it just translated to film very well. And what we were saying earlier about the liminal horror, I think that aspect is captured very well on the film, sort of repeatedly walking down this same hallway over and over again with some unusual differences, variations. There's really great character drama that's injected into it. There's not very many characters, but I feel like they're all fleshed out very well without giving you too much. And there's some mysterious connections between them. I mean, there's in the hallway, there's a man who always kind of walks down, who, he's not even really like a person. He's like an NPC, but then you find out that this character who's, no longer human had this whole backstory, and the way it tells the story out of chronological order at times, and the way it has the characters interact, I thought it was fantastic. Just a very great video game adaptation, a very interesting horror movie, unsettling, liminal horror experience. I think anybody who's enjoyed Backrooms, and I did kind of favor this one a little bit just because I think people already know about Backrooms and it's been a big success. I think this film's been seen less. So I think anybody who's enjoyed Backrooms would probably enjoy this just as much.
Oh, then I definitely have to check it out. Amazing. I love that you have 2 movies on here I hadn't even heard of. That's amazing. And where do you know where this one is playing? Or how did you see it? In the theater? Or?
I think I did not see it in the theater. I saw it on, I think it's currently available on Amazon Video Canada. I don't know if it's the same in the States.
Okay.
But it looks like it's on Apple TV Store Canada.
Okay.
At least.
Great.
if you're in Canada, you can definitely see it.
I'm sure you get rented in the States too. That's amazing. I'm sure it's
somewhere. What am I, Google? Find it, people.
Yeah, exactly. You have to tell us everything. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so fun. Well, I definitely will check it out. That's amazing. So my second favorite film is also a film I saw 3 times. I don't usually go see films 3 times, but like this film, I actually just did. And it's funny, some of these films, this is probably the last one I'm talking about that I was covered on my podcast, but I did a bonus episode with Kyle Reardon on, and that is HOKUM. What is that?
I still haven't seen HOKUM. I've been putting it off. For some reason I haven't seen it. I don't really have a good excuse why not.
Okay.
I just haven't.
You have to check it out. I went and Kyle and I just gushed about how much we love HOKUM in our bonus episode that just dropped like a week ago. So definitely check out that. But I thought this was just a poetic, beautiful, bone-chilling film. Is Damien McCarthy, who's an Irish filmmaker. It's his third entry and third film in a row that he's written and directed since he did Caveat, and then he did Oddity 2 years ago. And this is
I
in the
loved
last
Oddity.
6 years. I loved Oddity too.
I don't think I realized it's the same filmmaker. I think I just saw like Adam Scott was in it. I'm like, whatever.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, it's the same filmmaker. So
because I love
Caveat in 2000 and then Oddity 2024. I love that you loved Oddity. I thought it was great. This film is on a whole other level than Oddity. Oddity was like, I loved it. It was on my honorable mention. But I loved this film. It's even on a whole other level. Adam Scott is phenomenal in this film. He has a great character arc. I cried in this movie. I screamed out loud twice during the film. And I had friends, because I had posted that I had seen it. I had friends reach out to me on Instagram that were like, oh my God, I screamed. Like they didn't even know that I didn't even say I screamed. They just on their own, it was unsolicited, told me that. So, and it was just such a great cinematic experience. And this is another one where I took my dad to see it. And, I took Andrew to see it. Oh my gosh. But I saw it with my friend Megan the first time, and I loved this film. This film is on VOD right now. So it might still be in the theaters in some places, but I think it might be out of the theaters by now, but if you could still check it out in theaters, I would do that. It's very spooky. It's wonderful. Like I said, Kyle and I both loved it. But you can rent it right now on VOD for like $20 on iTunes and Prime Video in the States. I highly recommend it. It's a great night. And it really just an afternoon or whatever you want to see it. I definitely will be owning this film. And it's exciting you haven't seen it yet. I can't believe you have it in front of you, especially if you love
it kind
Oddity.
I don't think I realized it was the same filmmaker who did Oddity, and it just sort of came and went for me. Like I don't know, I might have been doing something else when it was in theaters. I might have been busy.
Wasn't that long ago?
No, but I've been doing lots of things, and I think it just kind of slipped by. But I'm going to make that top priority to see it. I think, for some reason the trailer didn't really grab me. I know James liked it a lot also, so.
I think it's Jamie's favorite film of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
So
as of right now, it is. I don't know
really
anyone that's seen it that hasn't loved it.
Yeah.
It's just an extraordinary horror film. And it's a ghost story, a witch story. And like I said, it's also just really about, it's really introspective as well. And I said, Adam Scott's got this great character arc. It's really moving. It's funny too. It's really everything. Actually, it was really hard because I thought a long time about, is this my favorite film of the year so far? But my favorite film, it just beat it out. So that I loved it a little bit more than this film, but, I have no, I'm not questioning at all that HOKUM's going to make my top 10 list. I loved it that much. So I can't wait for you to see it. But Martin, what is your favorite film of the year?
My favorite film of the year so far is Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. Yeah, which I almost feel like it's weird that people are talking about a Spielberg film as like a sleeper hit. But it kind of is, and if I'm being totally honest, like a lot of Spielberg's films of the past decade or so haven't really done much for me. I think I fell asleep watching Lincoln. So there were a couple that, I sort of thought like, oh, I don't know if I'm as into these more recent Spielberg films, but I feel like Fabelmans was a bit of a turning point, and it feels like he's in sort of a new, more introspective phase of his career. And so much of this film is about looking back to childhood and trying to understand, where in this film, it literalizes, where did your abilities come from? But in some ways it's kind of exploring the same themes as Fabelmans. But, I was very interested in it as just a late Spielberg film, and it's very different from the Spielberg who made Close Encounters, but he still knows how to entertain an audience, I think. And I'm, somebody who's skeptical of a lot of these things. It was fun hearing you and Adam discuss it because, I would like to be a Mulder. I want to believe, but really I'm a Scully. Like I'm skeptical about all these things, and I still really enjoyed the film. And, I didn't have any trouble suspending my disbelief for it and getting into the story. I like movies about aliens and psychic powers and weird things like this, definitely. I did think it was interesting to see some of the negative reactions to the film. I watched just a little snippet on YouTube of somebody talking about why they didn't like Disclosure Day. And they said, well, for them, the aliens and the psychic powers and stuff like that, invisible fire trucks, that wasn't the problem. It was this idea that disclosure is enough to change the world, and they sort of felt like the past few years especially have made them sort of cynical or jaded to that idea that just having a news story is enough to change the way people think about things. So I think it's the kind of film where maybe your mileage might vary depending on how optimistic you are about people.
We talked about that.
And, I think also like the Spielberg direction really makes it what it is, because I could see this exact same screenplay being directed by somebody else and coming out completely different. I was thinking a lot of it feels like it could have been a horror story instead of this optimistic story that it is. Especially the scene where, I don't want to give too much away, but there's like an abduction scene, reliving an abduction in childhood that, it's kind of creepy, even if the aliens are not necessarily bad. Like I've thought, this is actually kind of unsettling. So, I think it's
and it was
interesting
for the kids in the film. Obviously they blocked out their childhood and they said it was a traumatic experience. So they didn't think they realized till later that it, was a good thing. But yeah, I can see that.
And, just coming from Spielberg, who so much of his filmography has been about exploring childhood and the perspective of looking at childhood now that he's older, I found that aspect of the film really interesting. And, like you said, Emily Blunt, I think, is doing career best stuff. I liked a lot of the supporting cast too. Like Wyatt Russell is just sort of the unreliable boyfriend. I thought was good. The guy, Josh O'Connor, I kept waiting for him to ditch his girlfriend character. I thought, there's one part where he's pushing her kind of out the window when they're escaping from a motel, and I thought he was just going to say like, here's the money in my wallet, I never want to see you again. But she stuck around longer than I thought.
Was right for him.
No, I mean,
so funny.
When her first thought is like, how can I destroy the laptop with the information about all the aliens? I was like, just leave her. And then, well, I mean, I know she's kind of like possessed by Colin Firth, but I was like, she already tried to ruin your day once. Just leave her behind. Keep going on your own. But I don't know. I had a great time with this film. It's one of the few films that I felt like really hyped up for this year and felt like it totally delivered on. There's little things I can kind of criticize. I thought some of the CGI animals almost lost me, but in general, I think it's just, one of the most interesting films Spielberg's done in a long time. I think it pairs well with Fabelmans, and, even setting all that aside, I think it's just a very entertaining, optimistic science fiction film. So I enjoyed this film a lot. I would be surprised if this doesn't make it onto my top 10 of the year list, or whatever kind of list I do at the end of the year. And, I would also direct people to listen to your podcast episode with Adam, just to get a really great discussion about the film. So
that means so much, especially since you love the film, that it's your favorite film of the year so far, that you are recommending our show and our discussion about it. That means a lot to us. We talked about in our WhatsApp chat with all our friends, Adam and I talked about last week's episode about how we're like, if you love the movie, your Team Disclosure Day, and maybe the people that don't like it are not disclosed.
I've seen so much like hate for the film online too, which is surprising because it's done much better at the box office than I think anybody's expected. And
it's definitely,
and everyone I know, like, anecdotally seems to really like the film. Well, actually, that's not true. I know, like, Jamie didn't like the film, and I do know people who like. It does seem to be just one of those classic, like, love it or hate it kind of films, and it's sort of interesting to see what people are willing to accept or not. I mean, the whole implication of the last act does seem to say like people are either ready to take this or ready not to. So maybe it's fitting, but
I think it should really shows you how films are subjective based on your life experiences and what hits you and what doesn't. I think some people that it really worked for them, and it was like a really amazing, extraordinary cinematic experience. And other people were just like, why do people like this movie? It is interesting. And like I said, I was compared, like, I didn't mention this, and I just know I mentioned that some people online were like, well, how could you like this movie? But I didn't mention this on the episode, but I'll mention it now, is that twice when I talked about how moving it was for my father and I, that I was accused of being a paid bot. Like, two separate people said, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, paid bot. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly I'm not a paid bot if you look at my profile, but okay. I've never been accused of being a paid bot before, Jesus.
I've been accused of being a paid bot before, so
okay,
it's all good. You're in good company.
Now I feel like I'm in good company. It's so funny. But yeah, that was fascinating. And, you know, I thought it was really moving. What's also funny is just like, I saw one of my friends and like we had totally different experiences. He was like, oh, I didn't like Emily Blunt. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought it was amazing. And he didn't think the reporter, Courtney Grace, he thought she didn't work at all. And I was like, I thought she was like landed the plane was the best part of the movie. So it is possible to see this movie side by side with somebody and have just completely different like reactions and takes on it. And it has been fascinating seeing how divisive it's been. But if you want to know why even if you didn't like the movie and you're curious about like why it was so meaningful to me, like I said, I would love for you to come back and listen to our episode that Adam and I had. And I did gush about it earlier, so I'm not going to get like all into it again, but I love that this is your favorite film of the year. Because
Emily Blunt's really so good. Josh O'Connor's excellent. But who I thought gave the best performance in the film was that news reporter at the end.
Yeah,
she was great. Courtney Grace. Yeah, she was fantastic in the film. Like to me, like she kind of made the movie in that last act, is like her reactions to things and seeing it go out through the news. Again, I don't want to really spoil anything. I mean, the movie's called Disclosure Day. You can probably guess what happens to some degree, but and it's been nice to see at least her getting a lot of praise online, because
I agree.
It's the kind of role that like could be somewhat overlooked. Like she's not top billed or anything like that, but yeah, she was really, really great in the film.
She's what a find. Like not even know who she was and just be like, who is this person? She's extraordinary. But like I said, my friend was like, oh, he didn't like thought she was the worst part of the movie. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because it's like the total opposite of like, oh my God, this is what made me, my dad and I, when the movie finished, when I saw it, took my dad, I mean, he was tears spilling down his face because I think this scene really, is like the heart of this film. But yeah, I mean, again, I mean, some movies affect people in different ways. So just didn't work for him, but definitely did for me. And I love that it did for you as well. But let me close off, I guess, with my favorite film of the year, which now I have a feeling you must have hated this movie because it's not even you even mentioned it.
We could go anywhere. I'm not even sure what to expect. It could be a film I haven't seen.
No, it could be. Anyway, I love this movie.
I was expecting Disclosure Day to be your number one, so this has taken some unexpected turns.
So this film is my favorite film of the year so far. I actually saw it last year because I worked on it, and then I saw it twice, took my friends to go twice this year, and it is 28 years later, The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta. I loved this movie. It is now streaming on Netflix in the States, or you can rent it on iTunes. Nia DaCosta directed Hedda, which came out a few weeks before this film. And I saw that after actually this film, because I worked on the international release of this movie. So I got to get to see it. I got to see it last August, actually. And the movie came out in January. This was the film I was talking about where, like, when I left the theater, I was shaking with glee. I loved it so much. The end of it is so explosive and so spectacular that I was just like, I need to tell everybody about this movie. I can't wait for people to see this movie. It's so extraordinary. I thought it was gorgeous cinematography. I thought the performances were amazing. Ralph Fiennes is incredible. Samson, who plays a zombie, he has a great story arc too. There's a scene in particular on a train that had me in tears. Nia DaCosta uses one of my favorite songs of all time, Everything in Its Right Place by Kid A, and she uses Duran Duran throughout the film. But there are like great needle drops. The Radiohead one, I literally almost left my body when it came on, and like how she used it with Sweeping Across. The Island. I thought the performances were amazing. Alex Garland, I think I've said this so many times, I think is one of our greatest living filmmakers. He didn't direct this film, but he wrote it. And I just think he's a master storyteller. He always brings humanity to every story he's written. I just finally feel like I've completionist with him because I just finally saw Devs, the TV show that he wrote.
That's a really good show.
Yeah, that was my one blind spot for him. But I, was able to catch up on it. It's only, I think it's 8 episodes. I loved it. Again, just proved to me how much I just adore him, and I feel so lucky to be alive when he's writing stories. I think I just gush about him. But I honestly think that the Bone Temple is the best film in this series, which is saying a lot because Danny Boyle's film is great. I think it's spectacular. It's biblical. I think it's a masterpiece. I loved this film. I wish it did better box office wise. For some reason, it did not. So I saw it, in August, and then when it came out, I took a bunch of my friends. I saw it twice. And now, like I said, you could see it anytime you want Netflix. There was a small little sequence at the very beginning of the movie, which is so fun, is like the opening scene of the movie. There's a sign that says, "No children beyond this point." Yep. And that's also just like all the little small things that Nia DaCosta does. The main character is this kid, and it's such a great she does all these little things that are so great. And then also, I've talked before, I got to co-host Sony Pictures Director's Take podcast. And the last 2 episodes that we did for that was a 2-parter with Nia DaCosta, where she wanted to celebrate 28 days later.
Yes.
And so I got to meet her and talk to her, and it was so fun to be able to tell her in person. It was before her film came out. I told her, I'm obsessed with this film. I think it's a masterpiece. And she was so flattered by that. But and it was so honest because I just loved it. I remember I hugged her publicist, and I was talking to her publicist, and I was like, the world hasn't seen this movie yet. And I can't wait for the world to see it. But it was, I can't say enough about this film. Clearly not enough people saw it. So if you have not seen it, check it out on Netflix. I adored it. Yeah. Sorry. That's my screaming on the corner of the street, gushing about it. Sounds like maybe you didn't like it.
No, I liked it. Oh. This was in my honorable mentions kind of section. I didn't really put together formal honorable mentions, but Send Help was also kind of in that league with me, where I was like, I didn't quite fit it into my top 5, but I enjoyed this film a lot. I did not enjoy really so much 20 Years Later.
Yeah.
But I loved the part with Ray Fiennes and Samson, and that little section. I think there was a moment where the boy in 28 Years Later says please sir, and Ray Fiennes just goes, oh, good manners, and you can almost see him go back from this character who looks like ancient Celt or Pict or something like that. This guy who looks like he's from a completely different era, kind of get pulled back to civilization for a moment. And I think his performance in 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, is fantastic. I don't know how much of the lack of box office success for 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, has to do with coming so close after 28 years or what. But no, I really like the film. And Alex Garland's interesting. I have sort of a not a love-hate relationship with him, but I definitely really love some of his projects. Some of them have left me cold. So, he's somebody who I always have an eye on, and I'm always curious to see what he does. I think right now he's working on an Elden Ring movie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So I don't even know what that might be like, how faithful it is to the video game or what, but I think my favorite thing that he's done so far is Dreads 3D with Carl Urban. I love that. And Nia DaCosta, I think, is a fantastic talent. She's kind of a friend of a friend. So, I hope people do see the film and discover it. I think it's going to get discovered the more people look back at the series and go through it as a whole.
Yeah.
But, I love the original 28 days later. I loved with Cillian Murphy, and I think this is the one that's been, in some ways, it's the least similar to the original, but it's also the best since the original, in my opinion. So,
I agree. I
yeah,
mean, it's controversial to say I think it's the best one in the series, which is a
yeah,
huge statement, but I do think it is. It's interesting because 28 years later was sort of divisive. I think more so for the ending of it. I don't want to give it away, but I do think because we released it, or Sony released it about 6 months later.
yeah.
There were people who didn't like the ending, who were like, I don't want to see the sequel to this, or maybe they got confused because it came out 6 months later.
I think, yeah, having the title also be 20 years later, subtitle Bone Temple. I did run into a couple of people who seemed to think that it was the same movie. They're like, I think I already saw that. Like, yeah, it's too bad. I don't know if it would have made a difference if it was just called Bone Temple. Or
well, it's great.
I don't know.
What I love is, though, people that did see it were like, if the audiences, people were losing their minds. John Lovinger saw it in New York, and I had a friend see it at the Grove, and their audiences were like screaming, like I'm not like in horror, but like it just loved it because there is a satisfying climactic scene in the third act that's like just explosive. Like I said, you're just shaking because you're like, this is so spectacular. It's really amazing. So people that saw it loved it and talked about it, and the critics loved it. It's just a shame that not enough people saw it, but it is there for you. You can still see it and enjoy it. It's Nia DaCosta, I just think it's a talent. I can't wait for her to do more. And it was just so great to be able to tell her in person. And if you rent it on iTunes, if you scroll down, it has a link to our podcast. You can see my big face on your TV screen if you want to watch that. Or if you want to hear our discussion with Nia DaCosta, look up the Director's Take, Sony Pictures Podcast. It's on all podcast feeds. It's on YouTube too. I'm plugging our other podcasts, but it's great. But yeah, that's my favorite film of the year. So Martin, can you tell us your just rundown in just 1 through 5? So tell us your favorite, do the out of order if you can. And then I'll do mine, and then we'll pivot to the Becky Challenge.
Okay, so that's good. Primate, Project Hail Mary, Soy Frankelda, Exit 8, Disclosure Day.
I didn't know you were going to sing it.
Well, I didn't know either.
So funny. Okay, well, I was hoping you'd do 1 through 5, but 5 through 4 is okay too.
Oh, wait, I'll do it right.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Do the other way too.
Okay, number 1 is Disclosure Day. Number 2 is Exit 8. Number 3 is Soy Frankelda. Number 4 is Project Hail Mary. And number 5 is Primate.
Great. We're not going to cut out you singing because that was amazing. So you're going to get it both ways. You're going to get it in reverse and in the other way. So for me, I'm not going to sing it. But my favorite film of the year so far was 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. 2 was HOKUM. 3 was Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. 4 was Disclosure Day. And 5 was Back Rooms. We obviously had a great time discussing these movies because there
was less overlap than I was expecting. I thought we were going to have like maybe 2 or 3 the same, and it's pretty different. I really need to see HOKUM now. I feel like that's my big takeaway from this discussion.
Well, I too, and then there's two of your films in your top 5 I haven't seen. Sounds like you haven't seen one in mine, which was HOKUM. We overlapped with one overlap, which was Disclosure Day, but it seems like you liked all the movies that I liked, which were great.
I don't think there was anything you mentioned that I didn't like. There's definitely films that, mentioning, sorry, I keep messing up the title. Good Luck, Don't Die.
Well, it's a horrible title, honestly.
Yeah.
It's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I feel like I should probably give that another rewatch because I think I was into it at the very beginning. By the end, it had kind of like overstayed its welcome for me a little bit, but I did like the film. It was just I think maybe I'll watch it when I'm in
it's not perfect.
The right mindset.
I definitely think there are things they could have done in the third act that could have made it an even stronger film. And not by doing a lot. But I still loved it. And I do think I'll pick it up on social media. But yeah, let's move on to the Becky Challenge, which is when we get to it, is what Martin was talking earlier, it has to do with apes and his love of apes. So we will get to the Becky Challenge right after this. All right, we're back for the Becky Challenge. So Martin, I have a little intro for you. This game is called the Becky Challenge Going Ape. All right, so we are going to do our intro. So Martin, you spent years discussing film history, world cinema, giant monsters, and classic movies from every corner of the globe. But there's one subject that seems to appear again and again throughout your writing, podcasting, and movie recommendations. Apes. In fact, if there's a gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, or giant ape anywhere near a movie screen, there's a good chance you've written about it, podcasted about it, or convinced someone else to watch it. Whether it's King Kong, Planet of the Apes, Mighty Joe Young, or the history of gorillas in popular culture, you've become one of the world's leading experts in an extremely specific field. Today, we're putting that expertise to the test. Welcome to the Becky Challenge, Going Ape.
Okay. my ape expertise are going to be put to the test.
Okay, I'll be asking questions about primates in film, giant ape movies, and some of cinema's most famous simians. Get enough right, and you'll earn the title of Ape Supreme. Get too many wrong, and you'll be reassigned to banana inventory on Skull Island.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Are you ready?
We'll see.
I love that you laughed during that intro. That is exactly what I want. Hilarious. Okay, let me get the, I'm still learning. Let me get my little score sheet ready.
Okay. Oh, should I get a piece of paper and a pen or anything?
No, you're going to just answer and we're going to see how this goes. I'm scoring it. Okay.
I did give you a heads up that I didn't really have time to prepare for this. My head's been in ancient Greek history lately, so I had to kind of reel back and think, okay, apes.
Okay, well...
28 days later, starts with apes. Could come up. Any of this could come up.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be studying for the Becky Challenge. This is supposed to be that I'm putting together a challenge of something that you're passionate about.
Yep.
So ideally, it's just something, and just tell me off the top of your head, you're not supposed to study for this, Martin. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, I didn't, so.
I'm just kidding. Clearly, yeah. So we'll see. All right, so round one is called King Kong Country.
Okay.
Question one.
Okay.
What year was the original King Kong released?
Pre-code 1933.
Yes. Badass.
Okay.
All right. Question one, you got right. All right. And question two, what is the name of the island where Kong is discovered?
I think even though they never say it in the original film, colloquially, it's come to be known as Skull Island. I think maybe they mentioned that in the novelization.
It is Skull Island.
Yeah.
God, I love that you're like, well, actually.
it becomes Skull Island, like by the, I guess because his Kong's mountain's shaped like a skull kind of, but in the later ones. Anyway, so yeah, keep going.
No, but this is great. I love this.
Okay.
I love too when people are correcting. You know what? That's actually not an accurate question. It's this. Okay, so question three. Who directed the 2005 remake of King Kong?
Oh, Peter Jackson, hot off Lord of the Rings.
Nice. Okay, question four, last question in this round. You've got 3 out of 4 right so far.
Okay.
What giant ape film released in 1949 as a spiritual successor to King Kong?
That would be Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah,
which
4 out of 4.
Is probably better than most of the actual Kong sequels.
Nice. Okay, these rounds get harder.
All right.
But I
can do this.
You're doing great.
Although King Kong has been that was my main area of focus.
Okay.
So
oh my gosh.
we'll
I don't know
see.
if you listened to the last episode we did with at
That was hard.
yeah, where I gave
Yeah.
him filmmaking terms, and like I did a whole section on. I thought he like was a camera nerd, and he is not. And so I did a whole section on cameras, and he's like, "What is happening?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" So, but he still killed it. Okay, so round 2, Planet of the Apes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who
All right.
played Caesar in Rise of the Planet of the Apes using performance capture?
Oh, Andy Serkis. Not hot off Lord of the Rings. There's a couple of years in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of those
yeah.
new ones. Yeah.
Okay, question 6. What famous line does Charlton Heston shout near the end of Planet of the Apes 1968 version?
You maniacs! You blew it up!
That's perfect. I was going to accept close variations, but I love that you got that's right.
I ate every ape I see from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
Oh, is that from Simpsons?
The Simpsons, yeah.
So funny.
Okay.
You know what's interesting when I was doing these questions is I don't know, because now I feel like I'm going to work Twilight Zone into every episode, but I'm hanging with Becky, but there is an episode of Twilight Zone season 1 that was 1960. So it was 8 years before this movie, but it's called I Shot an Arrow in the Air. And it has a very similar ending to Planet of the Apes.
Well, Rod Serling was involved with Planet of the Apes, so there's a definite connection. So.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah. But highly recommend, if you are looking for a Twilight Zone episode, to check out I Shot an Arrow in the Air. Is a great one. Maybe I'll just recommend a Twilight Zone episode.
It should be a regular bit. Yeah, there's enough Twilight Zone episodes.
This is Becky's Twilight Zone's corner, where I'm going to recommend an episode every episode. So this is the one I'm recommending. All right. Question 7. What year was Rise of the Planet of the Apes released? It's a hard one.
20. It's one of the new ones. That's. I'm going to say 2011.
Yes.
It's okay. All right.
Look at you.
That was a iffy one, though. I figured about 10 years after the Tim Burton one. So
this was my second. I think it was my second or third favorite film of the year that year. That when that movie came out, that was my favorite ones of the new ones. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes made my honorable mention in 2014, and the rest I thought were fine.
Yeah, they're almost like too classy for me. I want my Planet of the Apes movies to be like Beneath the Planet of the Apes with the mutants and the nuclear bomb, or the Conquest of the Planet of the Apes where it's this dystopia with the apes. Just get weird with it. I like that stuff.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, question 8. Last question in this round.
Okay.
What species is Maurice in the Modern Apes trilogy?
I believe Maurice is the orangutan.
Yes. God.
Yeah, that he already knows sign language, so he can communicate with Caesar.
Score.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. We're doing good.
Look at you. What? 8 out of 8. Now we're getting harder.
All right. It's going to get hard now.
All right. Question 9. This segment is called Ape History.
Okay.
Okay. Question 9. What actress played Anne Darrow in the original King Kong?
Fay Wray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Question 10. What actor played Carl Denham in Peter Jackson's King Kong?
Jack Black.
Yes. All right. Question 11. What famous stop motion animator helped bring the original King Kong to life?
The great Willis O'Brien.
Gosh, Martin, killing this. All right. Question 12. Last question in this round.
Okay.
I was going to say something, but I don't want to jinx you on these. Okay. Question 12. What future special effects legend worked under Willis O'Brien on Mighty Joe Young?
Ray Harryhausen, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know sometimes people mistakenly say that Ray Harryhausen worked on King Kong, which he was obviously too young for, but he was inspired by Willis O'Brien's effects to get into stop motion. Yeah.
Amazing. So you have a perfect score so far.
Okay, I can
Now-
only blow it. So-
Yeah, you have 12 out of 12 right so far. Okay, now we're going on lightning round.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to name a character, and you're going to name the movie that character is in.
Uh-oh.
So this round
All
is
right.
called Name the Movie. So character, I'm going to do the character, you're going to say the movie. King Louis.
Jungle Book.
Yes. Caesar.
Planet of the Apes.
Yes. Kala.
Kala. I give up. Sorry.
Tarzan.
Oh my gosh. I read there's a great book called Me Cheetah, an autobiography, talking about the history of the chimp in Hollywood who played Cheetah in the Tarzan movies, but
Oh.
I got that mixed up. So anyway.
Okay, question 15. Mighty Joe.
Oh, Mighty Joe Young.
Yes. Okay. Question 17. Abu.
Abu. Is it the name of the monkey in Aladdin?
Yes.
Okay, there's not another Abu that I should be thinking of.
No, it's
Okay.
Aladdin.
All right.
I love it. Okay.
Okay.
Question 18. Maurice.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because we got that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Okay.
Question 19. This is a hard one.
Okay.
It's a movie I'm looking for. Donkey Kong. Do you know what movie he was
The
in?
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes. I thought that was going to be hard. God.
It took me a second just to not say
Because
Donkey
he's
Kong.
not in
but-
any other movies and all
Yeah,
other
yeah.
like TV and video games, but this is the only movie he's in. Badass. Okay, 2 more questions in lightning round.
Okay.
Koba.
It's one of the later Planet of the Apes movies. It's because I do remember Koba. No, when he betrays Caesar. I think it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, it
Okay,
is Dawn of
all
the
right.
Planet of the Apes.
I feel Rise and Dawn sound like they should be swapped. But
No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you're almost done. You're on question
All right.
21. We have 25 questions. Okay, this is ready.
Okay.
Name the movie. King Kong.
King Kong. I'm surprised you didn't have Clyde from Every Which Way But Loose. But
Oh, I'm not that
That's a good one.
creative. It takes a long time to come up with these. Come
I know.
on, man. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, the Adams. I had no idea what I was doing. Was filling papers, and then I actually stumped him. I was like, oh god. So so you have 4 more left. You're
Okay.
at bonus round. This trips a lot of people up. I'm gonna name a movie, and you're gonna
Okay.
tell me if it's a real ape movie or it's a fake ape movie. Okay.
like
is this a
if
real
the
movie?
movie's made up or if the ape in it is fake or not.
No, if it's a movie is real or fake.
Okay.
So I'm going to name the title, and you're going to tell me if it's a real movie or a fake movie.
Okay.
But obviously they have to do with apes.
Okay.
Congo, real or fake?
Real. With Amy, good gorilla.
I like. You know what? Give me extra points if you can name the gorilla in it.
That makes up for the Tarzan question.
Oh my god. Okay, question 23. The gorilla of Devil Mountain, real or fake?
Oh. Now that sounds real, but if it is real, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to say fake.
It's fake.
Okay.
Got it right.
All right. It could have been real. There's so many
It could
gorilla
have been
movies.
real. I'm very I'm really flattered that you thought it was real. Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
Real or fake? Monkey Shines.
Oh, that's real. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good
the helper
one.
monkey that turns. You don't want to boss around your helper monkey.
Yeah. All right. 1 more question.
Okay.
Question 25. Real or fake? The ape of Black Hollow. Real or fake?
Ape Black Hollow. Again, it sounds like it could be real, but I'm thinking if it is real, that would be like a Sasquatch kind of a movie. I'm going to say fake.
It's fake.
Okay.
Oh my God, 4 out of 4. Oh my gosh, I don't even have to tally this up. You got
right.
24 out of 25.
Okay, not too bad.
Means you not too bad. That means you tied with Kyle Reardon, who got 24 out of 25 right on Jaws. Nobody else but you two have gotten 24, 25 right. But let me give you your ranking so you know what the Becky Challenge rankings is. 0 to 4 correct, Curious Monkey. 5 to 8 correct, you're a banana collector. 9 to 12 correct, orangutan scholar. 13 to 16 correct, guardian of Skull Island. 17 to 20 correct, Kong's right hand. 21 to 24 correct, king of Skull Island. And 25 correct is ape supreme. So you got king. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy though. I don't even remember I did.
There's so many ape movies though, like Murders in the Rue Morgue and Gorillas in the Mist, and like you could go anywhere with these movies.
Yeah,
There's so many.
I probably should have incorporated some of those, but you got King of Skull Island.
That's great. Thank you.
Which is amazing. And it's crazy. Like again, you and Kyle. I was actually for a second I was going to jinx you because I'm like, are you going to get a perfect score? Because nobody has gotten a perfect score. I'm going to die when somebody gets a perfect score.
Yeah,
is that going to happen? But you and Kyle are in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Martin.
Awesome. I'm going to have to try to, I'm going to make it my goal to get a perfect score next time we do some kind of trivia. Maybe it'll be on Godzilla. Who knows?
Yeah, on Godzilla, I'm wearing so as like I said, I'm going to call out whatever shirt I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Godzilla shirt today because Martin also is an expert in Godzilla and has written a lot about Godzilla too and podcasted about Godzilla. So Martin is coming back for Godzilla -0 episode, and he also is coming back for the Resident Evil episode because we've planned our schedule pretty far out this year. But Martin had to come back for those two movies.
I'm very excited for both.
Great. So you will see him back if you love Martin. I'm so excited to, if you didn't know Martin, if I got to share him with you because I have such amazing friends. But thank you for hanging with Becky. And Martin, where can folks find you?
If folks want to find me online, the best place to look is on X, formerly Twitter. I'm at Movie Kessler. That's where I post all my updates about whatever I'm working on. And you can see some of my writing or hear more of me usually on The Pink Smoke or Film 89. Those are some of my favorite places to do things for. And thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time talking about recent movies, answering ape questions.
We love it. We're so excited. Martin and I were talking before this we aired, and we were talking on WhatsApp, and we're like, "Oh, this is gonna be so fun!" And I was so excited to have you on. And I love podcasting with you. So we're on Hanging with Becky on Instagram and Blue Sky, and Hang with Becky on Letterboxd and Twitter. And you can also email us if you have questions or want to give us feedback of any kind. We're on hangingwithbecky@gmail.com. And also, please, if you're listening on audio on Apple or Spotify, please hit the 5-star rating. It helps folks find us. And if you give us an actual review, we'd love that too. If we have an outstanding and amazing one, we'll try to read it on a future episode. And thanks for tuning in. You can find me at Hollywood Minotaur on most of the platforms, or the Becky Deanne on Instagram. But we will be back soon. I think the next episode after this is Evil Dead with the great Julia Marquesi. So that'll be exciting. I'm really excited about that one. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Bye.